What is going to be the future of Miss Meredith Marks on the Real Housewife of Salt Lake City? Giving her position with the other ladies right now on the show, and is there a way for her to move on? What is really going to happen over here? We need to talk about it. But before we start, welcome back. I'm the real Andy of Beverly Hills. Welcome to another piece of tea. If you're new here, welcome to Beverly Troop, where I keep it real and I mention it all. So make sure to subscribe, and hit that notification bell, girl. And if you're part of the old crew and you have not done it yet, make sure to go to the notification bell anyways, turn it off and turn it on again. Okay, remember with my YouTube drama, every single one of my subscribers got their notifications off. Okay, turn off. So you have to make sure that you turn it on again. All right. Girl, there is a lot of tea to be spilled, and you do not want to miss anything that is going on. Okay. Oh, it is Monday. It is a new week, girl, and we need to talk about this situation with Miss Meredith Marks. Okay. The last part of the reunion is coming this week, and we are basically officially saying goodbye to our ladies of Salt Lake City for a very long time until probably the end of the year, as usual. And I think the only one that we are going to be watching at some point is probably going to be Miss Lisa Barlow when Ultimate Girl Strips premiere, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. Meredith Marks right now is going through a situation where even though she's getting a lot of support online from the fans, she is not getting along with basically all of the ladies, except for, of course, Lisa Barlow, right? And that could potentially be bad for her. I still believe that, of course, that she needs to come back. I think that same situation of her not really being in a good position with most of the ladies will still serve as an anchor for a powerful storyline next season. And I'm going to tell you why, right? Even Angie Katzenevas was on the Nick Vile podcast the other day, and she even said that even though there is a lot of fighting and there is a lot of things between them, that there is a real sisterhood in there, and that they actually, in a twisty way, they love each other. And she actually talks about Meredith Marks, and she says Meredith Marks used to drive me crazy. Now every time I watch her and see the show, I can see her entertainment power and why people love her. So I think at the end of the day, even if you don't really talk too much to all of the ladies, there is a possibility of actually kind of like moving on. Is very important. No one is giving ultimatums except for Brittany, which is the stupidest thing that I have seen in the world. I think we talked about in a previous video of Brittany going around saying, I will never film with her ever again. And I'm like, girl, take several seats. Like, you are a friend of the show, okay? Like, they can replace you like this. Like, they can literally find any other person and be a friend of the show if they want to. So like, I think they actually tease some friends this season. So like yeah. Um. So Meredith Marks, she actually went to teasing a pod recently. And she also said stuff like, yeah, I'm not talking to most of the ladies, constantly, and I think that especially I think when it comes to, like, of course, Heather Gay, Brownwyn, and maybe Whitney, I think that relationships are completely over, for now, or it's they've decided to put a pin on it. But I believe, like, Mary Cosby, I don't think Mary Cosby will close her door to Meredith Marks. They have been friends for a very long time, and I think they just are like one conversation away. They probably already had that conversation. And I also think, like, because giving what Angie Katzeneva says, I think Angie will also be open to just be cordial, and like just be on the same place, right? And Lisa will always be Meredith's BFF. I believe that there is a chance, and I think that Bravo is not gonna make that mistake because Meredith is actually very loved by the Bravo community, right? Also, let's all remember that Brooks Marks it's on Next Gen NYC, and I think right now everything is kind of like connected. It will not make a lot of sense. Also, Meredith has been filming here and there for Ultimate Girls Trip as a guest, So I think everything is kind of like giving the sense of like, oh, she will come back. Now, as you know, usually we will find out who is coming back and who is not coming back after the reunion ends. That's what like invitations are sent. There has been, some rumors about Bronwyn Newport not returning to the show. Some people saying that she was going to be fired. To be very honest with you, I don't think that's real. I ask around, no one have really hear anything about that, and I think it's a rumor. And to be very honest with you, I actually don't want Bronwyn out. Actually, the only housewife that I just don't see the point on it anymore is Whitney. Even if you watch the reunion, I don't think we have heard Whitney talk most of the reunion. She doesn't even make sense on the show anymore, right? But all of the other girls, I think they should come back. And it will be interesting to see how Heather Gay reacts if Whitney Rose is no longer on the show. Look what Giselle and Robin did, and now Giselle is kind of like thriving without Robin, right? On Potomac. So, anyways, this is some of the things that Meredith is actually saying about the girls on the show. She said, "This woman these women are sitting here and pushing you and bullying you to say you did all of these things that aren't true and say all of these things about you that aren't true under the guise of being your friend. And it's just not the case. You can't sit here like when I say things about Brittany and don't pretend that I am saying them out of kindness to pretend that it's because you are my friend. Whether it's how Heather dealt with Lisa on the boat or how they dealt with me the whole second half of the season, it's like don't pretend you are my friend when you are clearly trying to decimate me." As for Heather saying their friendship was over, Meredith confirmed her reunion proclamation wasn't the first time she echoes those words. "I don't know what to tell you. She was screeching at me for 2 months, and even if she wasn't, that's how I felt. I'm expressing myself. You guys can't sit here and say that I am an alcoholic, a pill popper, mentally unstable, that my husband cheats on me, this, that, and the other. You can't make all of these false accusations against me, and then I'm like, you were screeching at me, and that's it. So now our friendship is over? Well, I guess we didn't have a friendship to begin with." She says that, the reunion was very cathartic because I felt like I could finally really talk about things that I really wasn't able to during the actual season. So for me, the reunion was pretty amazing. She also says, it was to some of the women very disappointment that they didn't get the reaction they were looking for, but I don't think it will be for the audience. I think you'll see a lot of chaos. Oh, they're talking about the reunion. Meredith also said a lot more information was revealed at the reunion. She says a lot more I don't know, probably understanding. There was a lot of like, oh, Meredith, you don't talk enough, and then you start talking, and the next one's like, oh, you talk too much. I was kind of like pigeonholed by the women. She also thinks that the thing is like everyone wants to create this wedge between her and Lisa. She says they just have a problem with me and Lisa, and it's like they feel like if they can isolate us by taking either of us out, then the other one is just done as well because they can all just come after us without anyone's support. Do I think everyone is thinking that? No. I think there is a group in the cast that does that, and then they rope everyone else in somehow. I agree with that. Like I'm telling you, I believe that Whitney and Heather has been like the puppet masters, and like Angie and Bronwyn are just these little puppets that they just need to be their own women, honestly. Now, when it comes to Mary, she says Mary was a different situation. She clearly did seem to be very, very, very concerned, and I felt horribly that she was upset and concerned by it. But I think she had a lot of people saying a lot of stuff all season long to her in her ear. I think they kind of convinced her of all of this. And then at BravoCon, her statement was a little bit different. She really backed off on it because I think she recognized that she had all these people in her ear trying to skew her into this direction. And when they are all saying this over and over again, yeah, of course she's gonna be afraid and oh, I forgot, afraid and concerned for her friend. I believe that Mary is a really good friend of Meredith, and I also believe, yeah, uh, Mary was or is going through a situation with her son, and I think that is very close to home. So of course, I think that Whitney and Heather took advantage of that, so Mary could somehow confuse or project, the issues that she's having with Robert Jr. with Meredith Marks, and I think that's why Mary was so concerned, because she's like, I'm living through this process right now with my son, and it's very horrible. I don't want to have to deal with same with one of my closest friends. But at the end of the day, it was all a creation from Whitney and Heather. I don't know. Anyways, let me know what you guys think on the comments below. How do you feel? What do you think is going to be the future of Miss Meredith Marks on The Real House of Salt Lake City? Let me know. And if you're going to get all the tea related to this show or any of the other Bravo shows, make sure to like this video, share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you around. Bye.